Hi, good morning. It is 10:30 on May 10, and yesterday was a year that I found out that I had cancer. So it was, can I just tell you, it was very emotional. I had a lot of stuff going through my head, uh, but it was like a happy feeling. I think for the first time, I felt like a survivor. I haven't felt like a survivor ever since. I don't know why. And I think it's probably a common feeling for people that just finished cancer treatment. Um, but yesterday was the first time that I felt like a survivor. And I felt like, you know what? It's a past. Let's move on. So that felt good. It's a year. I can't believe it only has been a year. So much stuff went on in that short little time. Chemo, radiation, surgeries, so much, so much. Just was a year yesterday. I finished my treatment in January 31st was my last radiation, and I'm taking tamoxifen for the next 5 years, possibly 10. So, it's still a little, you still have to kind of continue with all this stuff. Tamoxifen, it's, I guess it doesn't really cause me any problems, but stomach problems, like my stomach has not really gotten used to it yet. So that's the only problem that I have. But I don't really think I have hot flashes. But I do spend most of my days in a hot yoga room sweating, so I don't know if I get hot flashes. Maybe I get them in the middle of the night, but I'm sorry, I've never got them in the middle of the night. Maybe I get them in the middle of teaching a class. So, but I don't know. I wanted to check in with you. I also wanted to talk to you about this really cool thing I did. And if you are interested in past lives, well, I did this thing. It's called past life regression, and I first heard about MIRA KELLEY when I went to an event. It's called Ignite in New York City, where Dr. Wayne Dyer was there, and he was talking about, he's a great speaker. So he was talking about a little bit of everything, and he talked about past life regressions. And he brought MIRA to the stage, and she talked a little bit about it, and I was completely and utterly intrigued. And I was with Bex, my friend Bex, from BexLife.com. Check her out. And I said to her, let's go buy her CD. And we bought these CDs, and you could do the regression and privacy of your own home. It's about an hour. There's two. There's one for healing and one for past life regression. And I started doing it, and I really liked it. And the first time, I really got into it. It was like a movie. It played like a movie. It was I can't remember what my first past life regression was when I did it on my own. I'll get a little bit more into about what happened when I actually saw MIRA, but it was so vivid. I loved it. It was so great. And I did it a bunch of times, and I decided that I wanted to do it. My husband said to me, what would you like when you finish your cancer treatment? Would you like a new purse, a party, or shoes? And I said, no, I want to see MIRA KELLEY and do a past life regression with her. It's the same amount of a pair of shoes that, the Paradise shoes. It was $800, but can I tell you, it was the best $800 I've ever spent. It was 4 hours, maybe a little bit 4 hours, and if it goes longer than 4 hours, it's still the same price. So I got this. I was put in a waiting list, and then I heard from her assistant, and I went, and I was a little nervous, and I didn't know what to expect. Oh, but I went to my appointment. I actually couldn't wait. The night before, I was so excited. So I get there and meet MIRA, and we have a lot of friends in common, and she's a lovely, lovely, lovely lady, and she has the best voice, so soothing. So we talked a little bit about my life and my illnesses, and then we went right to the regression. And I want to make this video not too long, so I'll give it to you nice and, like a small version of what happened, because it was 4 hours, so I don't have 4 hours to talk here, and plus, I'll probably lose you. Okay, so the first life, she puts you to sleep, and she takes you into a cloud. She puts you into a trance. So I was in and out, and it was like kind of like when I meditate at home. And I was in and out, in and out. Finally, she takes you into a cloud, and then from this cloud is where you start going into, into your past lives. And my first life, I was Asian, and it was not like a movie this time. It was flashes. It was a flash here, a flash there, a flash here. I would see a picture. I would see a flash of like a street, and then I would see a flash of me in a dress. And then she asked me to look up and see if I saw my mother's face. And then when I looked and I saw my mother's face, I saw that my mother was Asian. And I had the feeling like it could have been China. That's what it felt to me like. And then later on, she says, go to another time of that life. I went and I was at school and I was pregnant, but I was a teenager. And can I tell you, I felt pregnant. I felt the emotion. I felt everything that person, that I was feeling at that life. And then she asked me if I recognized any of the faces, and I didn't recognize any of the faces. And she asked, do you recognize any of the energies? And I did. My daughter that I gave birth in that life as a teenage mom was my daughter Ashley, who is my child right now, my oldest daughter. So it was great. It was awesome, and that was like a happy life. So I felt really happy. Then my next life was a life which I thought it would be like maybe in like 1900s. So we're in a big hat, and then she asked me to go to another time of that life. At that life, I felt, I saw a lot of big house, and I felt like I was wealthy. That's what it felt like. And then I was walking going to a party, and I walked into a room, and I saw my husband, his face. That was more like a movie. Not as much as flashes, but it was more like a movie. And in that life, it was so cool because as soon as I saw Jerry, and I saw his face, not just his energy, his face, I started to cry. And that happened to me before when I did one on my own. I saw him in a past life also, and that's the only time I cry is when I see him, because I guess it's reassuring me that we have been together in a past life. And I started to cry, and then I felt so happy when we were together. And then it went to a different time of that life, and he was leaving, and I was so sad, and I felt the sadness, and I felt so sad. And then she told me to go to another time of that life, and I was old in the same big huge house, but Jerry wasn't there, and I was so sad and lonely, and I felt it, and I couldn't believe how much I would feel that, the emotion of that life. All right, so then that was that life. That was great. That was I had the first life was happy, then the second life was lonely and sad, and the next life I couldn't tell. I was a man, and I couldn't tell. It felt like American Indian. I was wearing no shoes and like headgear like American Indians wear, and I was with brothers, and we were in the mountains. Then she asked me to go to my house, where I lived, and it was like a teepee, and I walked in, and it was my brothers, and my mother in this life was my great aunt who just passed away. My first chemo last year, she passed away in Colombia. Her name was Emma. And her and I had a really great connection, and I always loved her so much. It was like, it was so crazy how much I loved her. And when she died last year, I was really upset. And she was my mother in that life. And then before we went into that life, MIRA started saying like, let's see if in this life we could figure out what's wrong with Yulady's colon. Why doesn't it work? In that life, I passed away with a spear through my stomach, and I saw it. It was so weird because I felt it. It was amazing. I cannot put into words the feelings you get when you're in this life. So then I would leave. As I was leaving, like my spirit was leaving the body, I felt no pain anymore, and then there it was, and I could see as it was getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. That was amazing too. So that might explain my problem with my colon. It's been through a lot in the past life. We carry that stuff through, through other lives with us, and this is why I wanted to do. I'd like to get to the bottom of it so I could heal my physical body now. And then my last life was kind of freaked me out because it was my parents now, and it was in where I grew up in Colombia, but another time. I was also a man, and I was, I felt mentally ill. That's what it felt like. I felt like I was mentally ill, and I was very angry and sad. And in that life, I killed my father, who was was the face of my father now, which totally freaked me out. But then I felt, like I said, mentally ill. Then after that, she took me to, she said, you know, go to the end of that life or another time of that life. And then I like jumped off a bridge into a river. And I remember like feeling the darkness of the water and feeling so sad and so, like I literally felt like I was crazy. And that was we did 4 lives in 4 hours, and that was my last life. And I gotta tell you, I would say at that point, my own mind was telling me, when is this gonna be over? Because it was so much emotions. And to me, I feel like lately I've been feeling like I'm a little bit emotionally numb from all the stuff that I've been going. So I haven't been able to cry much. I haven't been able to feel too much. And I guess that's normal for when you've gone through so much stress and so much stuff in such little time. So these 4 hours brought up a lot of emotion. And which, you know, at that point, my body was like, all right, I can't do this anymore. But, you know, then we did some healing stuff. She asked me some questions. She asked permission to ask my guide some questions. And it was, you know, it was unreal, the stuff that was coming out of me that I was saying. I have a recording. She'll send you a recording for you to hear yourself talk about it. I still have not listened to the whole recording because I get a little bit of like a pit in my stomach. I don't know why. I'm sure that's quite normal. But I have realized that like, for example, in the life where Jerry was there and I was so happy, and then he was gone, and I felt the sadness of being, like, I had everything. I was rich. Everything was so beautiful, but like he was not there, and I felt so sad. So when I was driving home from MIRA, I said to myself, I don't care if I don't have anything. I'm just so happy I have my husband. I don't ever want to feel that again. So that's, you know, that's what happened to me. I think everybody should do this. It is the coolest thing ever. Yes, a lot of emotions are gonna come up. That's what I got, but it's okay. I want to feel these emotions. I want to feel them, and you know, if they're positive, I want to enjoy them, and if they're negative, I want to let them go. I don't want to carry any bad emotion anymore. So, you know, really quick, I was already 12 minutes into this video. That's a really long video, but I know a lot of you have asked how the regressions went. That's what happened. I give you a short version of it. If you want to try it, start with the CD. I'm gonna put here at the, you know, at the bottom of this video her information and where to buy her CDs, and you have to try it. You have to try the CDs first, and then I guarantee you, you're going to want to do a session with her. I know my friend Sharon is doing it. My sister is doing it. So it's great. I really love it. MIRA, if you're seeing this, thank you so very much. All right, everyone. I got more to teach. I'll talk to you later. Bye.